Previously, what happened and what's wrong with Secretary Kim Part 2. Kim Mi-so is Lee Young-loon's highly competent secretary, and thanks to her, all of his work is going well. But one day, Lee's world is turned upside down when Kim announces her resignation. He tries his best to make her stop, and through the journey, both of them fall in love. However, it is revealed that when they were young, they were kidnapped by a woman, but Lee tells her that his brother was the one who was kidnapped and claims to have no memories of his past. But she continues to doubt that Lee was locked up with her. Misunderstandings between Kim and Lee settle down, and they confess their feelings for each other. They start dating but hide this from their colleagues at work. Now that they are together, they try to act like a couple as they head out for lunch, but they still can't get over their employee-boss relationship. Don't worry, they'll gradually learn everything. Whereas Gia moves into her new apartment, but she gets to know that her colleague, Park Koo, lives on the rooftop. He appears to be stunning and smart at work, but in reality, he is a complete weirdo. Later, Kim meets Sung and explains that she doesn't feel anything for him and she is just thankful to him for being with her during the kidnapping incident. In the meantime, Lee shows up and takes her away, telling him to stop bothering her. Instead of taking her back to work, he takes her for a drive, but they eventually decide to have a walk. Lee's a bit tired, so he takes some rest in the car. As he takes a nap, Kim recalls what his mother said about her kidnapped son and remembers that she referred to him as Hyun. She wonders if as a child she misheard him when he spoke his name. She is certain that Lee was the one who was with her, so she tries her luck and calls him Sung-hyun instead of Young-jun. And bang, he answers her. Kim tells him that while she was discussing the kidnapping with his mother, she referred to her kidnapped son as Hyun. So she asks him if his name used to be Hyun instead of Young-jun. But he quickly denies this and claims that he just reflexively answered her while sleeping. However, Kim isn't satisfied yet, and her doubts grow stronger. The next day, she visits Lee's mother to ask her about his former name. But she claims that Kim misheard her and she doesn't know anyone named Hyun. Kim tells her that she believes Lee was kidnapped. However, his mother denies it, but it is obvious that she is lying and hiding something. She then meets Sung to get some answers, but he doesn't remember anything about the kidnapping. However, she sees the photographs of two young boys and she recognizes one as her appa. And what's even more shocking is that it's Lee's photo. She learns the truth, but she decides to act as if she doesn't know anything because she doesn't understand why he is telling her that Sung was kidnapped. She heads out with her sisters to a rental house near the seaside to celebrate her late mother's birthday like they do every year, but they have an unexpected guest, and he is none other than Lee. He is here to ease Kim's sister's concerns about him, and he wants to tell them that he genuinely loves her. He spends the entire day with them. Luckily, he's able to convince them, and at last they accept him as Kim's lover. On the other hand, Lee's mom decides to reveal the truth about the kidnapping, and she tells Sung that he wasn't the one who got kidnapped. It comes as an absolute shock to him, and he is unable to accept the reality. As the couple head back to work, they attend the showcase event. Suddenly, Sung appears and sits next to Kim. He reveals that his memory was wrong. In the meantime, the magician reveals his assistant on the stage, and as Kim looks at her heels, she's thrust into the flashback of her kidnapping and recalls everything about her kidnapper. But she suddenly passes out. While she is unconscious, she remembers the day of her kidnapping. She wakes up in the middle of the night and looks for her mother, who was in the hospital. She sees a woman outside the house who promises to take her to her mother. But in fact, she is the kidnapper, and she takes her to the house where she has already captured Lee and tied him with cable ties on his ankles and wrists. He introduces himself as Lee Sung-hyun, which Kim mispronounces as Sung-yan. She tells him about her sick mother who is about to die, and she starts crying over the fact that she won't be able to see her anymore. However, they get the lady's attention, who is actually a psychopath, and she thinks that she is their mom and tells them to be quiet because daddy is going to come home. As the lady leaves, Lee calms her down and gives her chocolate to relax. They eventually sleep, but the lady appears again and tells him that she knows she is not her mom and the person, whom she refers to as daddy, isn't going to come. It turns out that she must have been in love with someone, but he ditched her, which caused her to become a psychopath. She walks to the next room and climbs on a chair in an attempt to kill herself, but Lee begs her to let them go first. She apologizes for not helping and kills herself. When it's all over, Lee crawls to the next room to get a pair of scissors and cuts the cable ties. He bravely takes Kim out and drops her off at her house. And while they part their ways, they make a cute promise to marry each other. Coming back to the present, Lee is beside Kim's bed at the hospital, and he starts to have a glimpse of his past when he runs into Kim after so long. She doesn't recognize him though, but he is happy about the fact that they are united again. And everything he has done so far to make her stay is proof of his love for her. Later, she wakes up, and now that she remembers everything, Lee has no choice but to tell her the truth. He admits that he didn't lose his memory and that he is the man she has been looking for all this time. Things between the two are cleared up, and they head out to spend some time together. Later, Kim tries to sleep, but she is scared by the dark and silence. This is the time when the hero comes in as Lee arrives to stay at her place, so she won't be scared. The situation becomes a bit awkward for them, and Kim believes that the living space is too small for both of them, so they decide to move to Lee's place. The next day at the office, Jaya gets into trouble when she accidentally puts an important report in the paper shredder, but Ku appears and immediately helps her to put her notes back together. Later, Lee's parents visit him in the office as they get to know about the whole situation. They ask him why he pretended that he had lost his memories of the kidnapping and how he ended up getting kidnapped. He starts to get flashbacks, and it is revealed that Sung took him to an area, claiming that there was an amusement park there, but he left him in the street and told him to wait while he went to get some water. In the meantime, the kidnapper lady arrived and she made her move. He tells his parents that when he got back from the hospital, he saw Sung acting really weird as he started to believe that he was the one who got kidnapped. The doctors told the parents that Sung's extreme guilt of leaving Lee alone altered his memory, and he switched roles with Lee. Lee was obviously hurt and traumatized, and he felt it was unfair that Sung played the victim and blamed him for everything. The family situation got worse, and he heard his mother saying that she wanted to die. He was scared of the fact that he will lose her, so he made the decision to pretend that he has no memories of the kidnapping and let Sung claim the victim's role. He says that it was the only way to make his family survive. The parents feel guilty for not setting things right back then, and they apologize to him for carrying the burden alone. He understands their situation, and an emotional moment occurs when everyone, including Kim, bursts into tears. Moments later, Lee meets Sung, and another emotional moment occurs when the two forgive each other for their traumatic past. After an emotionally exhausting day, Lee and Kim have dinner at his place, and their romantic event is interrupted again by Yushik's call. He informs Lee that they have an emergency, and they have to leave for a business trip to France for a week. The following day, Lee travels. Even though they are separated for a few days, it makes them miss each other so badly that Lee rushes his schedule and comes back earlier than expected. On the other hand, Ku and Jaya are gradually becoming closer as they go out for lunch, and he discusses his early life and struggles with her. It seems like we have another couple. Meanwhile, Kim and Lee are on their way to Lee's house, and he is excited to continue their romance. But Kim gets an emergency call from her father. He's being treated at the hospital because of a minor tendon surgery he got while stage diving at a concert. Poor Lee drops her at the hospital and spends another night without her. His wait ends the next night, though, as Kim shows up at his place, and the two share some passionate moments. The next day, both of them visit the hospital, and she reaches up to affectionately straighten his tie, but they get caught by her dad. Lee informs him that they are dating, but he is against their relationship. As Lee goes out for a while, he tells Kim that he is just lying to make him even more desperate to win her. Later, they have a private talk, and the father tells him that Kim is the most considerate among her sisters, and he is proud that now she has finally decided to focus on herself by quitting her job. On their way back, Lee admits that he became selfish by trying to keep her by his side, but now he is ready to let her go, and he will always support her decision. Whereas at the office, rumors about their dating start to spread like a forest fire, and what's even crazier is that the team catches them red-handed. Kim asks them to keep it a secret, but it's too late as now the whole company knows about it. The following day, the company faces another problem as their new design of a laptop gets copied. Kim goes into damage control mode as she manages all the departments and gets everything adjusted. Lee is impressed by her efficiency and wonders if he will ever find his secretary as good as her. He drives her back home, and Kim tells him that she has decided not to quit her job because she believes that solving problems and helping others is the best way for her to find herself. They go inside to spend some time together, and Lee tells her that he wants to marry her. He tries to seal the moment with a kiss, but suddenly, Kim's dad pops out. Kim's father takes him out for some private talk, and after a few questions, he gives his blessings for the wedding on the condition that Lee has to propose to her in a romantic way. He quickly arranges the proposal, and thankfully, this time Kim says yes. Both families meet up, and they fix a date for the marriage. With that, Lee begins the wedding preparations, and he is very excited about finalizing the dresses and even the crockery. Meanwhile, Yushik meets his ex-wife, and it is revealed that they still have feelings for each other, so they decide to get back together. The wait is over, and it is finally the wedding day. Jaya and Ku also confess their feelings for each other and start dating, but the happiest couple is Lee and Kim. They keep the promise of marrying each other and celebrate their love. With that, today's recap comes to an end. We hope you enjoyed this romantic and comedy Korean show. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.